I try sharing my story to remind readers that there is a way out, that with hard work, dedication, determination, motivation, it's all about having a plan for your money, and that's what gives you the true control. Holy crap, it just changed my life. You're like, oh man, Nico, it takes time, it takes dedication, it takes work.
But no more credit card debt.
Today we're going to be talking all about budgeting and what you need to do as far as the budgeting process to get ahead on your financial goals. Maybe you want to pay off a little bit more of your debt every month or have a little more to save with your income. So I'm going to show you that process here in just a second using my Budget by Paycheck workbook and this month, because the process and the method is going to be the same no matter what income you have, what debt you have, or what savings goals you have. It's a matter of customizing those steps in that process so it works for you. Here's the thing before we get on to that, though, there's a couple of things I want to mention. If you are the person out there who is saying, I don't have enough income at the end of the month to make a hefty debt payment or to make any real progress on my financial goals, I really feel like I don't have enough income to do that. I live paycheck to paycheck. You only have so many options. Your options are, one, you can decrease your costs, your spending or expenses. Option number two, you can increase your income. Because right now, as of today, as we're sitting here, you are bound by your income limits, but that doesn't mean that you're restricted to your earning potential. So anyone has the ability to go out there and earn extra money. It's a matter of how much do you want to change your current lifestyle, your living situation, because going out and getting more income, getting a second job, all of that is going to have some changes, is going to make some changes in your life. For me, one of the things that I did in the very beginning, I did a couple of different things. One of those things was learning how to do photography, and that's something that I did on the side. I got very lucky. I ended up having a friend who was in real estate who got me into some real estate photography. It wasn't a lot. It was like an extra $250 a month, but it took time out of my life to learn how to do photography. It took time away from my son on the weekends when I was out shooting houses. And so it's going to be a change if you decide to use the income route. But that doesn't, like I said, it doesn't mean that you are restricted or bound by your earning potential. You're just restricted as of right now with the income that you have. So you have to make a decision right now. Are you going to choose the cutting expenses, or are you going to choose going out and getting more income? Now, one has significant more, I would say, how do I word this? When you choose to do more income, you have a lot more opportunity on this side than you do with cutting your expenses, because you can only cut your expenses so far. I mean, you still have to have the necessities, food, shelter, clothing, those things you need to have. So you can only cut your costs and your spending so far. So that's what you really need to start thinking about if you are the type of person who's saying, I don't have any money left over after paying my bills. Now today I'm going to show you how to find the hidden dollars in your existing income and budget that you didn't know you had. And of course, the first step is always tracking your spending. Tracking your spending is the number one thing you need to do if you decide to choose to cut your spending or your costs. Without full awareness of where every dollar is going, you cannot start making those changes to cut your spending. It's just plain, flat, simple, it just like that. You have to do it. Not only that, tracking your spending, it also has some changes in your life. It's going to take time for you to do it and make it a habit. I do mine every single day. I track my spending every single day. In fact, if I don't do it, I feel like I'm forgetting something. It's like one of those things where you're walking around, you're like, feel like I'm forgetting something today, but I don't know what it is. That's how I feel when I don't track my expenses, because I've been doing it for the last 8 years every single day. But I'm going to show you very quickly what this looks like in the budget binder. So if you are the person out there wondering how to make better progress on your financial goals, this is gonna be it. So let me quickly show you my budget by paycheck workbook. Okay, so the first step that you need to take with any budgeting program, method, or process is tracking your spending. I don't care what the financial experts out there tell you. If you're skipping this step, you're not going to be successful with your budget, plain and simple. Oh man, it's so important. But if you are choosing to cut costs, now this is how I'm going to show you how to find the dollars you didn't know you had. And what I mean by that is cutting out careless or mindless spending. Okay, those are dollars that are being spent on things that just are kind of like, oh, where did my money go this month? And you're going to use that money now for your financial goals. This is what you need to do to track your expenses, okay? You need to track every dollar. I don't care if your numbers match at the end of the month. I don't care what you're tracking. You need to be tracking anywhere there's money movement. If you're using a credit card, you need to be tracking that spending. If you're using your checking account, you need to be tracking that spending. If you're using cash, you need to be tracking that spending. Every dollar that you spend. Now, when you are thinking about cutting costs or finding the dollars you didn't know you had, income plays a role somewhat. Do you need to track all the income that you make every month to start cutting costs? No, but you should. It does, every time you receive some income, write it down. But when you are tracking, after you track every single dollar, you are going to be aware, okay, and especially if you do it for a couple of months. Now, I do suggest tracking your spending for more than a month. If you do that, it's going to be very in your face. If you're going to have one of those aha moments like, oh my gosh, I'm spending how much getting food every month, or I'm spending how much on getting clothes. Okay, having those aha moments is the first step. But once you have your expenses and spending tracked like this, you can create what I like to call an expense list or a bill list. Very quickly, I can show you. Here is my bill list or expense list. These are all the bills that I have to pay every single month. That's the first step. Identify your regular bills. Because once you do that, it's time to start going through these line by line. Now, when I first started and I literally didn't have any money for groceries left over at the end of paying my bills, I didn't have enough groceries. I didn't have enough sometimes to make an extra debt payment. What I did was I went through all of my regular bills first, and I asked myself this question. So, rent, do I need it, and is there a way or possible way to decrease it? No, rent is rent. I have to pay that. Car wash subscription, regular bill, do I need it? Absolutely not. Get rid of it. There's $22 in your budget right there. AT&T, do I need my phone? Yes. Is there a way to decrease it? Possibly. I would call AT&T at this time and say, hey, I'm having a hard time making my payment every month. Is there a way or a program for a cheaper monthly payment? Figure out your options. Do investigative work. Start making phone calls. So maybe they can decrease your plan a little bit with some options you didn't know that were available to you. That might free up some money in your budget. Hulu, do I need it? Absolutely not. Cut it out. Same with Spotify. Do I need to be making these house savings, these automatic monthly savings? No, I don't. Cut it out. Dental insurance, I need. Avista, do I need my electricity and water? Yes. But is there a way I can decrease it? Absolutely. There are things in your everyday life that you can make a habit to decrease your energy usage. How many times are you washing clothes? What are you doing with the water when you're washing the dishes? Start doing research on how to cut your energy costs. Netflix, do I need it? No. Life insurance, is that a need at this time if I'm struggling to make ends meet? It is not. Daycare, need it for my son. Car insurance, do I need it? Yes. Is there a way that I can decrease this or save this? Yes. I would call my insurance provider. Tell them the same thing. I'm having a hard time making my monthly payment. Is there another option that would work for me that won't cost me as much? Do you see how I'm going through these first? Start decreasing the bills you feel you have to pay every month. Next thing that you need to do is you need to identify your variable spending. Food, fun purchases, clothing, every time you make a trip to the coffee shop runs, get rid of them. Look at how many times you're eating out every month. Can you make a better effort to eat at home in the food you already have? Start cutting costs. Now, when you're decreasing your variable spending, like your food, your fun, that type of stuff, don't decrease it so to a point where you're going to fail every month. You don't want to be it so restrictive where budgeting then becomes absolutely impossible. Maybe cut your food spending by $50. If you're spending $100 on getting coffee, well, for me, I would just cut that out altogether. But if you feel like it's a habit and it's going to be hard to cut out of your budget, maybe get that down to, okay, I'm going to make it a goal. Twice a month, I can go to the coffee store. Being aware of the things that you can change with your spending is the key, and you can't do that until you know where your money is going. So that is how you're going to track your expenses like this. You're then going to make a bill list that looks like this, and then you're going to, after your bills are tracked and you have that bill or expense list made, and you can start going and cutting costs on those, then it's identifying that variable spending. Now, if you are barely making ends meet, start from a blank slate. And what I mean by that, take care of your monthly debt payments. That's it. Don't worry about saving. Don't worry about anything else. If you at the end of the month are having a hard time putting food on the table for your family, you take care of what you need to, and then once you start seeing signs of success with this, cutting it costs, and you start saying, hey, I'm noticing some extra dollars at the end of the month now that I've cut my spending, then you decide what is the best option for you to do with those newfound dollars. Is it saving? Is it putting more towards debt? But start with bare bones first. So that is really the three things, key things that I would do if you are feeling like you don't have enough money. And for me, this is where I would start. Because I'll tell you right now, going out and finding extra ways to make extra income, getting a second job, taking time away from your family, taking more time out of your busy schedule to go and do that is a lot harder than working with what you already have. This is what you have. Tackle this first. And then if you have literally cut all costs and spending that you possibly can, then you start looking at other ways to increase your income. If you found this